Hey, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I want to go ahead and show you the sunrise today out here at the Prince Resort, Cherry Grove, South Carolina. Commemorating the events of 9/11 by exposing what I believe to be the truth and the reality of that. As I'm driving around, sometimes people will actually go to see this channel. It's actually, the name of the channel is Truth. To get there, you might need to hashtag YouTube Truth. Sometimes people can find it in seconds. Sometimes people can't find the truth at all. It's a game of hide and seek, so to speak. Good morning, Sally. Okay, let me cue this up a little bit better. So I cover a wide variety of topics on my channel, including weather modification and more. A lot more. The events of 9/11, clearly not possible as we were told. Good morning. Great, thank you. So we should see the sun appear in about the middle of the view there. It'll be kind of hard to see that with as much marine layer as we have today. That's in the direction of the Myrtle Beach skyline. I can see about 3 miles away. I believe the iconic reference to Inside Job is pretty widely known as to what I'm talking about. And just so that I avoid any, I want to avoid any ambiguity and explain exactly what I'm talking about with that. Whoops, sorry about that. The events of 9/11 of 2001, as we were told, is not even possible. And I've got a photograph at the top of my page early on of the nose of a plane flying through the second tower of the Twin Towers. Well, that's not possible to fly an aluminum fuselage of a jet, no matter how fast you try and fly it through steel reinforced concrete. That's not possible, and that's not reality. Now, there's so many different aspects of this that were broken down on the documentaries that I featured that I don't want to do it a disservice to explain too much here without showing you. There's evidence of computer graphic imagery that was implemented. So one of the things that I quite often will say is, seeing is believing. What do we see and what do we believe? There's a difference between seeing something and knowing something. We can see a lot of different things. There's a lot of cinematography that has tricked people into believing something that isn't true. And quite often we'll pay money to do that, whether it's through our cable or through our subscriptions to different channels, let's say, and movies, to present us programming, to entertain, and to amuse us. Well, what I'm simply wanting to say is that it's more than simply say, there's a grand illusion that is being perpetrated on humanity. And that involves Hollywood, the movie industry, computer graphic imagery, artificial intelligence, the cybernetic collective of humanity that is basically being manipulated, drugged and manipulated by forces they don't even realize are actively doing that to them. So we have more than chemicals that are confusing and stupefying humanity, as in pharmaceuticals that are actually in the food and the water, chemicals that have psychoactive effects. They impair cognitive function. One of those would be fluoride. It's in the water supply, admittedly. Not all municipalities in the world do that. The United States is one of the few countries that actually publicly poisons the water with fluoride. If you're wondering if that's just the ravings of a lunatic mind, what I would want to have you do is consider taking a look at the toothpaste tube. Hopefully you don't use fluoride toothpaste. If you do, it would say on the back, if you swallow a pea-sized portion, contact poison control. How many pea-sized portions of fluoride are in the water that are going into your body? Hopefully none. Virtually none would be going in my body because I bathe in drinking water that I infuse with magnesium sulfate, boron, which is 20-multine, to kill fungus, as well as baking soda. Did you know cancer is a fungus? It's a parasite. It'll kill its host. My mother died about 26 years ago on September 28th, and she told me, Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. That was a very telling statement, and it caused me to look into what I found to be extremely disturbing information on how the profiting of industry by providing toxic treatment, supposed treatment to people. So to be clear, the system creates or provides cancerous chemicals in the food, water, and the air. And then one of the comments on a video that I shared was, you know, I was never told to, they said they were diagnosed with cancer and they were never told to not have sugar as food, because cancer feeds on sugar. Did you know that? So you may think I'm a crazy flat earther, tinfoil hat wearing kind of guy. Not so much. I've got actual evidence to back up what I'm talking about. Evidence in the form of hard-hitting documentaries to expose the reality of the world that we live in. Cancer loves sugar. You should know that. If you or somebody you know comes down with cancer, you should be aware of that. The other thing is that cancer thrives in an alkaline environment. I'm sorry, in an acidic environment. The baking soda and boron will offset that. I'm out in the sun a lot, so I add also a quarter cup of coconut oil to my water to help keep my skin nice and protected from the sun, and also the elements as well. So I cover a lot of topics intentionally, and that may be disconcerting for you. Where's the focus? Well, how do I focus on like many topics? Well, one of them is I'll just have a playlist that people can go to and consider what I'm talking about. So in a little bit, I'm gonna go to the biblical creation of a stationary level earth, and once again proclaim and show you that the water is seeking its level all over the stationary earth. That's what it does. In a world where it's hard to know the reality of a situation because there's so much deception, water is one of the reliable evidences of the impossibility of life on a globe. This is a sea level liquid mirror, and it's just beautiful. We're expecting to have about 20 million guests here this year, like last year. Many of us believe the Santa Claus lie. Santa being all-knowing and getting ready to bring his flying reindeer with his elf-prepared gifts to deliver in one night the gifts to all the children in the world that were good little boys and girls. Well, I'm here to tell you that that was a lie and a deception that was an inside job as well. Parents, friends, family, NORAD, NASA, weather presenters, news anchors, music producers, all presenting the Santa lie. Well, it was a deception that was very grand. Too hard for children to get their heads around, so many of them went along with it. Some of them today will say, no, I didn't believe that. They maybe were not presented the Santa lie as unquestionable reality. Right about the time that I found out that that was a lie, I was presented the moon landing hoax. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Oh yeah. So did much of humanity. Okay, so the moon landing was a hoax. We still got the monkeys, and we didn't evolve from monkeys or two tiny amoeba. We were created by God, who created this whole world. If in fact the sun were 93 million miles away and in 1.5 million Earth sizes, that whole cloud bank would be lit up. I'm going to zoom in with the P1000 and just show you what that looks like a little closer. Notice that all the clouds aren't lit up, even just to a little bit to the left and right, not much. The rays of light that are shooting off are what would be termed as crepuscular rays, and in a little bit I would believe we'll see the sun intermingled in the clouds. I'm not sure if that's it right there. Should show up soon. If somebody were to come up to me and say, hey, we found out Santa's really doing his thing, delivering presents, I would say you're living in a dream world, Neo. What is the splinter in the mind, the metaphorical response of Morpheus to Neo? I can tell you what it was for me. I wanted to know the truth. If I was truly born again, why was I still struggling with addiction and behavior of self-pleasure and self-effort? Some people might think, yeah, I wasn't a drug addict, I don't need your Jesus. Okay, smarty. Well, where will you spend eternity and why? When you can't fog a mirror, when your heart stops pumping blood through your arteries, where will you be? Are you really sure that Jesus is a fairy tale and that you're the thing of stardust? As I waded into this world of conspiracy theories, there's a lot of actual realities that are conspiratorial in nature. Remember, 2 kids stealing a bicycle is a conspiracy. What is it when the artificial intelligence is choreographing this cybernetic collective, people using digital devices, your iPhone, your Android, the cyborg of sorts that we are, leveraging personal computers. They're leveraging us, creating a digital hive mind of humanity. A cybernetic collective of deceived computer-programmed individuals. I use the technology every day, day in, day out, to show this world the reality as best I can. So help me God. I certainly need His help. I believe it's only by God's grace anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is to get out and enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation. Millions of people spending billions of dollars to come out here to enjoy the beauty of this. So there is, some people will say, where is the ice wall? Are they really guarding it with ships and armies and all that? Well, I don't know. I haven't been there. I've seen a lot of evidence of the welcome mat not being thrown out, like the Antarctic Treaty. So civilian exploration is not only discouraged, it's virtually impossible to do. You can look at that. But we have another issue. We have the firmament. Accounted for in the book of Genesis. You can read about it if you care to. The firmament separates the waters from above from the waters below. We have a local sun, moon, and I believe stars, all very close, moving above the stationary and level earth. Keep in mind there would be no level anywhere on a moving, spinning, wobbling water sphere. That globe exists only in the imagination and the tools that are used to promote it. Computer graphic imagery, globes in studies, libraries. Joel Osteen, one of the snake oil salesmen, has a globe spinning on his stage. Anonymous, are they really the good guys, the hackers? Hacking into exposing the reality. I even have some of their liked video, or some of their videos on my liked video playlist where they're exposing pharmaceuticals found in the water supply. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. However, they're still promoting the globe. Now I've messaged them, I've sent them my playlist, I've tried to have it show up in the comments. I'll copy and paste my playlist wherever I can. Command C, Command V. That's how it is. And so there's millions of occurrences of it. So you're looking at a jet trail over the stationary level plane. We've got airplanes. We have up and down, not upside down, in relationship to each other. So the simple reality of using water, taking a shower, watching a waterfall, watching the rain fall, keep in mind there's a theme here. The water is falling. It doesn't stick to a ball. Okay, so we're getting real close to seeing the local sun appear in the midst of the clouds, as Job 37 proclaims, whether you like it or not. The truth is not based on popular opinion. It's not popular and it's not an opinion. It is just the truth. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refused to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. There is a spiritual smorgasbord all around humanity. Fallen angel deception, the doctrine of demons, what does that look like? Well, it's deception. And to be clear, deception has quite a bit of actual truth around it. Rat poison is mostly desirable to the rat. It's the sodium fluoride that will kill them. It's a toxin. Sodium fluoride is what's in a lot of the toothpaste and water supplies. That's not the only rat poison. There's warfarin, blood thinners, Coumadin. There's a lot of toxic things that people put in and on their body. On the skin, is in the brain in many cases. Alcohol crosses the blood-brain barrier, of course. Many of you know that. So does water. So do a lot of the trace elements that are in water, like fluoride, to dull the perception. So you can stick whatever you want in your pie hole. It's not up to me. I'm not in control of that. I'm not speaking to only awake and diligently seeking the truth people. There are those that are wondering, what kind of freak show do I have going on here? Well, it's basically, I'm leveraging the worldwide instantaneous portable communications to expose the reality of the world that we live in. It's a reality show, and you're in it, whether you like it or not. It's more than a show, and it's more than a theater, like a dinner theater. It's a theater of battle, waging war against humanity, fallen angel technology, Satan's family, and God the Creator's family. The living Word, the living water, the great I Am, the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahweh. A lot of names, a lot of titles. My Heavenly Father is the one that I appreciate the most. I zoom in and out so you can see how it's obvious that the sun is local. Joshua 10, God's word says that He stopped the sun and the moon from moving, not the earth from spinning. And some naive individuals would say, well, those sheep herders didn't know what we know now. Well, I'll tell you what they didn't know. The grandest deception ever perpetrated on humanity. The thing of stardust. What's the difference between science and fiction? Science fiction? Virtually nothing. Indistinguishable to most. It's essentially what William Shatner of Star Trek said. You can see it. There will be talking heads that will promote the godless cosmic Big Bang. I'm just exposing it. This is so cool. We've got the pelicans here fishing. So people reflect off of the wet sand, off of the water, reflect on their lives, past, present, future. I encourage people to get out, to get unplugged. If you're watching a lot of hours of TV the way I used to, you may have a hard time getting unplugged from the reality of this. The reality that there is a massive deception. Using high-powered technology to deliver a false reality to humanity. This is reality. Little takeoff of the Neil deGrasse Tyson mic drop line. So I've got friends that have created powerful documentaries that are on my liked video playlist. You can check them out if you like them. Notice how the clouds in the middle are lit up and the clouds on either side are not much lit up, right? What is the truth about this? It's pretty mysterious. We still have the tidal activity that has a relationship between the sun, moon, and stars and my cell phone, my Tide app on my phone. Which one of those doesn't actually control the the tidal activity, or where and when the sun and the moon appear and vanish? Well, my phone doesn't. However, there's at least a coinciding relationship between all of those events and my phone, but my phone doesn't cause it. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? It depends on the temperature. The temperature change affects the density and volume of water. We have the flood that Noah prepared for that covered the face of the earth to over the tops of all the mountains. There were 3 water sources mentioned. The floodgates of heaven opened up, a lot of water fast. The fountains of the deep, which may still be operating as far as we know, as far as I know. I would have no way of knowing if they're not operating. And then God also caused it to start raining. Ron Wyatt did the archaeological discovery of the Ark in the mountains of Ararat in Turkey. You can check it out if you care to. It's on my liked videos. You can explore my liked videos. There's a little something there for everybody, including beautiful, relaxing, motivational music and the sights and sounds of waterfalls and tropical destinations all over this world. Beautiful 4K cinematography and hard-hitting documentaries as well. Here we go. Where's it going to show? It's perfect. I'm going to have to queue up another recording with the P1000 because I've only got about a minute left. I'm going to go ahead and queue it up right in just a moment.